So, shisha. All over the place is shisha. I don't know how to start this episode. It's rampant, it's chaotic. It's that thing that youth get pressure into doing so that they can feel cool. Well, today we are finding out, is it safe? What's it all about? That is the $1,000,000 question of this episode. This is the A Report with your host Enongene Doris. But before getting to the video, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't get to miss out on any of our next episodes. Now, I for one am not really fond of cigarettes, not just because they are harmful to the heart and lungs, but the scent to me is not just pleasing. But with the coming of shisha, many people believe that they have finally found a way to smoke without being harmed. But we are discovering today and in this new time that actually these things are harmful and they might actually be more harmful than cigarettes. Don't take it from me, let's hear from the experts. We had an article that was published by the African News. The article published in 2022 by the African News states that Cameroon is the latest African country after Kenya, the Gambia, Tanzania, Rwanda, and Ghana to ban the smoking of shish pipes. According to the Health Ministry, about 46% of young Cameroonians smoke the substance, saying it poses a serious risk to their health. There is a misconception that shishas are not as harmful as cigarettes. The British Heart Foundation says an hour-long shisha session can be the equivalent of smoking more than 100 cigarettes. Let me talk. It's written right here, like, if you're smoking shisha for 1 hour, you'll smoke 100 cigarettes or more. That's what the experts are saying. It goes further to say, shisha is a mixture of tobacco, molasses, glycerine, and flavorings. Traditionally, shisha tobacco contains cigarette tobacco, so like cigarettes, it contains nicotine, which is an addictive substance that makes you keep going back for more. It contains tar, carbon monoxide, and heavy metals such as arsenic and lead. It says the smoking of shisha tobacco is widespread in Africa, and its regulation has become a burden to most African countries, as countries like Kenya and Sudan keep revising their regulations. As shisha bars keep springing up in major cities, African leaders may have to keep revising their strategies to effectively clamp down on their menace. So there you have it. I know some of you still want to go on smoking. For those who are, or those who have family members who do smoke shisha, this is actually a time that you should get yourself very sensitized on the issue. So next time you see someone or you yourself find yourself in a place and they're telling you, no, it's not that bad. It's not really like smoking cigarettes. It's just shisha. I mean, can you get the flavor? They say it contains flavoring. These flavors are made so you feel like it's not actually harmful. But it is whether it tastes, it sounds like chewing gum flavor, strawberry, whatever, it is still harmful. It contains all these other harmful particles. I went further to check on the article that had been published by the British Heart Foundation, and they had a lot to say about this particular substance, shisha. Let's read about that. So they asked this question, is shisha safer than cigarettes, which is the $1,000,000 question we are trying to answer. And clearly it's stated there, no. No, it's not safer than cigarettes. Smoking shisha is not safer than smoking cigarettes. Many people think that drawing tobacco smoke through water makes shisha less harmful than cigarettes, but that's not true. Like cigarette smoking, these toxins from tobacco-based shisha put smokers at risk of developing heart and circulatory diseases, cancers, nicotine addiction, respiratory infections, and conditions. It says even if you use tobacco-free shisha, the smoke still produces harmful levels of toxins, which can be either just as bad for you or even more harmful than smoke from tobacco-based shisha and cigarettes. So even if they tell that, Master, do I not get tobacco inside? They're telling us that it is still harmful or even maybe more harmful. Experts are saying it.
Come on, Clark, you just said it.
And I'll urge us to do more research on such topics. If you are going to get yourself involved in practice like this, at least know the risk factors. Most people just know, it has the potential of causing this and causing that. Like, when you go deep into the research of this, you find that it can even cause infertility to a certain level. Another question that was answered by the British Heart Foundation, their article, was a question of, are shisha pens safer than shisha pipes? Because some people be like, no, I don't take that long pipe that they put in the clubs. No, I just take that little one that is cute, that looks very sophisticated. Like, I'm that kind of sophisticated girl. Like, I don't get myself into the very extravagant things, just the one that keeps me classy, I'm learning today that, like the shisha pipes, shisha pens can still be addictive because the liquid that's used in them usually contains nicotine. So shisha pens are devices that allow you to inhale flavored liquid and nicotine as smoke, like an e-cigarette, also known as vapes. Some people use them. This is a very important part I learned. Some people use them to help them quit smoking, but more research is needed on the long-term impact of using a shisha pen on your heart and your circulatory system. So we found out that vaping is actually a way to help people who are addicted to smoking to get off smoking. And this is still being researched, I should add. It's true there are many testimonies about that, but if you want to get over quitting smoking, then you might want to check more on how vaping can help you to gradually escape from this habit of smoking. But for you who is not smoking at all, don't start. Because vaping in itself, most vapes have nicotine inside that will get you addicted to smoking. You might actually leave now from the vaping to the cigarettes. And I know I've already mentioned this, but we're just going to read this particular section of the entire article that was talking about, is shisha addictive? And they said, yes, shisha is addictive. Shisha usually includes nicotine, which is addictive. Nicotine is the same chemical used in cigarettes, which makes them addictive. Nicotine is a chemical that makes your brain produce feelings of pleasure, but the effects do not last very long. When the effects wear off, you feel the need to smoke again to trigger the feelings of pleasure. The more you smoke, the more nicotine you need to feel good, which is how an addiction to nicotine can happen. That's how every addiction practically happens. You get this rush, the rush wears off, you start wanting that rush back again, you go to that substance, you get it, it wears off. So that's the entire business of shisha and cigarettes. They produce this high for some short period of time, and you go back home and you're like, I want to feel that again. I go and take this substance. Not if it was that these substances, maybe they're not affecting our lungs in a way, we might actually want to give them some benefit of the doubt. But now these are very, very harmful substances, harmful to your lungs, to your heart. I also came across this video on TikTok where a doctor was talking about vaping, which I believe actually would be a very good video for us to watch and learn from. So let's watch that video.
Vaping is not as harmful as cigarettes on paper, but because the odor is not as offensive, it's easier to hide. You could do it much quicker and get a bigger dose. Because it feels like it's not as harmful, many more people can get hooked on it.
Is vaping dangerous?
Yes.
Why? So many of my friends vape. I think three out of my 6 best friends, they're just like, they're just absolutely addicted. And they never smoked, interestingly.
That's the issue of it, that it gets people who maybe would have been turned off by smoking to try, and the chemicals found inside are really rewarding to the brain, nicotine being a prime example of it. And the more dangerous part of it is with kids who have a developing frontal lobe, meaning that the part of their brain that is responsible for complex decision making is not yet fully formed. So they're incredibly susceptible to anything that can build a tolerance, a dependence, an addiction to. And it could change the chemistry of their brain moving forward. So we don't want to make it easier for them to start smoking. Vaping should be used as a tool, as a way of getting you off of cigarettes, not as a way of introducing you to cigarettes or nicotine at all.
Is it dangerous for adults as well?
If you're coming off cigarettes, no, it's a good choice.
All my friends that vape never smoked.
Yep, it's not something that carries value health-wise and can only potentially harm.
Leave it to the experts.
Said from a doctor himself. So vaping is dangerous. Children, more dangerous. For adults, if you're getting out of cigarettes, the option is what? If you're getting out of cigarettes, this might. I mean, that's why I'm saying vaping, not shisha. They're like two different things. Vaping might be a good way to get out of your cigarette addiction. You might have to go and find out more about that. But if you are not a smoker, if you are not smoking, let nobody convince you that shisha is innocent. It's another form of smoking which is more dangerous and more toxic than smoking itself, smoking cigarettes. And it can even be more addictive than smoking cigarettes because you consume a lot more in the process. That's all, guys. Now, tell us what you feel about shisha. Are you in? Are you out? Are you on the fence? Let us know in the comment section. But before you go, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the Next Generation Media channel so you don't get missed out on any of our next episodes. Bye.